In the previous episode, we built this lovely track shack behind me, which is used for Phantom Rail production and showing off our latest art pieces, graffiti. But in today's episode, we're expanding on the street here by adding a brand new shop in this area where we will be farming some flowers and opening a little flower shop for the citizens of the high street. Hello everybody, I'm Dio and welcome back to another episode in our Create End Only Survival series, where we've been slowly building up our cyber city on this big rock that we call home, never returning to the overworld again. Well, at least not for now. So the idea for this episode is to finally start working on the skyline that we'll have covering this whole area by adding our next little shop, which will be the flower shop that will house all the different flowers that we will be farming for future projects and for decoration. And the idea is to, again, keep this little line, I almost want to say it like a diagonal like this. So we've got nothing low and a little bit taller in this area. And then when we go to the second layer at the back, we'll have a bit higher and we'll go taller to there. So we will still see buildings peeking out from behind this new build. And then finally lead up to the monstrosity that we will be building in that area. So yeah, that's the idea. So we're going to do something in that area a little bit taller than this. And to get all of that started, I think we need to go fetch some blocks that we'll use for placeholders and get to some planning. Okay, so I've got some dirt blocks and I think we can use that to mark out the location of this next build. So the one thing I do know is that I kind of roughly calculated it, and I think the external measurements need to be roughly 9 by 17. So it's going to be quite a long build. So what I want to do first is maybe just start over here and let's say count that way. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Which I guess is fine. I would have liked it if it had a bit of a, let's say, an awning to it, so we could display some of the flowers on this side. So I don't know if we should maybe go one forward like this. Oops. Because it doesn't have to be big. I just want, like, let's say 2 pieces of wool sticking over, and we have some shelves with some plants and stuff over here on this side, just to decorate the street. So I do like that. I do think that can work. So we can rip this out and this will all be part of the building. And like mentioned, roughly 9 by 17. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, which ends kind of perfectly because I do want to keep this space open. Not 100% sure what I'm going to build in that area, but we are going to use it. So like this. And this should be the outline of the flower shop done. That should be the footprint. Now, another thing I want to do is I want to make sure that the shop maybe starts on this level, right over here. So we're going to add some more dirt in this area just to show. Yeah, so let's say the shop starts up there. I can't do like that size. So something like this. But then only this part needs to be that big, I guess. Meaning we can step the foundation. So the foundation can be right over here. Because we don't need a big foundation, which is actually pretty cool. Because then it gives us a little bit of an overhang in the front. So then we continue this like so. Going around this way. And then, like mentioned, this will be the actual floor. Oh, that's the wrong button. Going this way. So in the back it runs like almost flush, but we have this as foundation, this and this, Let's rip this one out so I can just go through. But then in front, we take out all of these. Whoop, there that block goes. I thought I was going to be able to save it. Yeah, that could work. I'm actually considering stepping this one as well. Maybe something like that. Because this flat wall we will break up with the little awning and the different flowers and everything. Then we walk through here. We've got some storage space over here. But then this side, we can then enter into this build with a little staircase. Like so. Because this is the actual build. So it's actually going to be quite big. And then maybe we can have like some form of veranda in front again. That runs the full length. So that's all high. And then we've got our little door over here. Okay, let's quickly just hop on into free cam. Yeah, I think this can work. I really do think this can work. So from the street we go up. What's that? 1, 2, 3. And then we've got the floor. Okay, what I think is I'm quickly going to load up the creative world. I did do a recent backup of it. So we've got a fresh updated creative world. And I'm going to block it out in maybe different materials. And we can have a look at it in creative. So welcome to the updated creative world, I guess. It's like mentioned, it's just one where I recently updated it. So we've got a brand new, or not brand new, a fresh canvas to work with more updated builds. And then I spent some time doing that, and I also spent some time planning over there. But this is it, and I do think it looks good. Okay, granted, it looks very blocky at the moment, but I do think we've got some solid shapes to work with. And to just run it all by you, we've got the lower area that will have the canopy and some plants in this area. Then you walk up this little staircase that we'll put in there onto this little deck over here overlooking this area. And then here we'll have some more flowers and everything. And then eventually you will go into this area, which is, well, it's this build, I guess. This is where we're going to have a lot of our farms in. Yeah, a lot of our farms in this area for the different flower types. And then we'll also need to think of a staircase going up. But I think we can just do something over here. So you'll pop up in this area where we will have some more flower farms, mainly the tall flowers. So that's only 4 farms. And the idea is to maybe do this glass in the same style as what we have down there. So we'll have a little greenhouse on top. And then over here, we'll have a little canopy for outdoor dining, or I don't know, whatever, sitting outdoor, doesn't really matter. And again, that I want to take inspiration from that canopy over there, just less beaten up and a lot more modern. And then what I did is I did push this whole build back a bit so we can fill up that. We can do some really nice support systems. We can have bushes all over the place. And on this side, we have it stepping in 3 layers, like 1, 2, 3. And we can do some supports and do some really cool things with all of that. So yeah, that's basically the idea for the build. And I do think it looks pretty neat. So what I need to do now is maybe just take some time, texture it, get it done, and finish this build so we can head on over to the survival world, gather resources, and get it built. So maybe an hour or 2 has passed, but finally we have ourselves a little checklist for all the building blocks we're going to need to build this little flower shop. So I'm pretty excited, but now the big job starts, and that is collecting all of the materials on this list. So we've got quite a few of the familiar ones we use a lot. We have some older blocks that we're going to use again that we haven't used in a while. And then we also have some new train tank things, train boilers. Yeah, and this side train hulls. I haven't done those yet, so that's going to be interesting to bring a different type of tank into this build. But enough talking, I'm going to quickly gather everything and then I'll be right back. And I'm back. And I completed the list. We've got every single block needed for this build in a backpack, all the way down there somewhere in a schematic cannon, and we're ready to roll a build montage. So why don't you grab yourself a little snack, maybe something to drink, and maybe just sit back and relax as we build the flower shop. It's done, and honestly, not bad at all. I do need to add a bit of foliage like leaves and bushes and stuff all over, but I'm going to do that between episodes because I really want to take my time, figure it out, and maybe get something like what we've done. Oh, we need to hop into FreeCam. Like this, where we have a variety of leaves and moss and glow lichen, and some glowberries, the words. So that'll do between episodes, but for now, let's quickly head on over and just see what this looks like. So again, we've got this little walkway. We did expand it on the side over here, so you go up with this little staircase. Over here, we've got a little door that works with a button that leads into the area where we will do the redstone. I'm not sure that I like the door. I might make it the same texture as the blocks, but for now that will have to do. Then we go up to this area where we have these displays. And these displays, we will add some flowers so you can see the flowers that you can find in the area. We have some more in this area over here and then a bunch inside as well. The one thing we do need is storage. So we will do a storage for all the different flowers we farm. But I think for that, we'll first get the farm in place, and the farm will go in this general area and then another farm in the top area. So if you walk on into this area, you walk up here and we'll have the tall flower farms in this area. And I think we can just do them maybe in the center. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, we can do something like that. And if you walk out here, we've got this little canopy with this little like frills that we made the use the banners for. So I think over here we can maybe do some seating and stuff. And again, just add a bunch of flowers to the outside. But I think my favorite part of this whole build is this little area over here, because if you hop on into FreeCam, it looks like this. It looks like we had this building and then this new greenhouse came down and wrapped around. So I really honestly like that. I don't know. It looks like a super modern barn type effect. But anyway, that's the idea. So the next thing we need to do is build this little farm. So what I'm going to do is grab a bunch of resources and I'll meet you guys in the basement. Okay, we're in the basement and we need to work on this farm. So we've got a mod on this world over here, which allows us to bone meal single flowers like poppies, orchids, and stuff like that. So if we have, for example, our orchid in this block and we bone meal it, it'll spread to the adjacent blocks. Once those spread, we need to break all the blocks or move all the blocks around the center block to break them, and then we can harvest them or collect them via a backpack. So the idea I have for that is to maybe do something like this. Now I need to think. So if we do the dirt on that level, then we need to do this. So this is the correct height. We'll do that. We'll add a second one over there and there. And then we'll just add ourselves a train track over there and over there. We will do cart assemblers like this and this. We're going to make sure we say lock rotation. And then we're going to add our mine carts in here. And we're just going to do that. So this is what this is the mechanism we're going to use to break the dirt. So basically what we're going to have is something like this. And let's just fill out the corners, the edges first. Yeah, this should be perfect. So now what this is going to do, this is basically going to lift the dirt. So whenever we power this thing, it is, yeah, we just said it. So every now and then we're going to power this, give it a short pulse. And what it's going to do, it's going to lift all these dirt blocks we have placed over here. It's not going to do those that we don't have placed because that's where we're going to keep our single flower. So to demonstrate it real quick, we can do something like this. We can grab those, and we can just do that, like so. Now we can go down, and do we have ourselves a little button? The button should demonstrate it as well. Let's just craft one, I guess. So if we do this, you'll notice it lifts, and it puts down. Lifts, and it'll put down. So that way we have the blocks, or we have all the flowers growing on those blocks broken, and once they're broken, we'll have a backpack or something with magnet mod like mentioned. Pick it up and send it to our storage system, which, well, we don't know where that is. So that's the idea for the breaking part of it. So I'm going to quickly repeat all of that on this side, and then we'll take it from there. Okay, we've got the second part in, and it also works. Now, the next thing we need to do is we need to place down a pulse extender on each of these. And basically what we're going to do is we're going to tell this thing it needs to pulse for exactly 10 ticks. So it will lift up, it will pulse, and it will stay there before retracting. So giving it enough time to break the blocks. And then we're just going to have to send a redstone pulse into those. But then also what we want to do is we want to tell this item over here that it needs to bone meal the plants upstairs. So this one, or this little redstone, is it called redstone receiver? No, redstone link, that's the word, will receive power as well, and it will trigger the dispensers dispensing bone meal. And to do that, we're just going to do something like this. I don't, however, want this to connect here, so I think I can do that. Yeah, that's fine, because I don't want it to climb back up there. Is there a different way to not do... Well, that's fine. I guess that's fine. So basically, so this will have a signal. It will trigger the dispensers that we will place up there, and we'll do that just now. But to get this to trigger, we also need to do a repeater that repeats the pulse. So I want to do this one over here, and the reason for that being, I want it to pulse once to bone meal the flowers, and then I wanted to pulse a second time to bone meal again before eventually it triggers this. So that's the first thing. So we're going to have a repeater over there, but then also we're going to have a pulse repeater here and here. And I do think, do we have enough space in here? I think we might have to just move everything up one. Let's just do that real quick. Like so. That one there. And then there. Like that. I guess we can remove that one and do this. Something like this. Yeah, I think like that. So now it's a closed loop. So if we power it now, it will give us a signal out here. So I think this one can be almost be like something like 22 or something. So it will tick, it will pulse that one. And then let's say 4 ticks later, it will pulse it again. And then in the meantime, this one needs to be on 10 ticks. Oops. And another 10 ticks. Oh, there we triggered it kind of now. Yeah, it seems like it's working. We might have to make this one 11 and 11. That equals that. And then this one we can maybe extend a bit. Yeah, that should be it. So we're just going to rip that out for now. And that's our little clock. So now what we can do is we can go above and just quickly see if we can add the dispensers with a little bit of bone meal in it, and then we take it from there. Okay, so on the upper level, we already have our little dispensers in, and you'll notice that we've got redstone links at the back, and we just need to set these to that frequency, or well, to receiving, and then the frequency will be, I can't remember if it's a blue flower at the bottom. Yeah, blue flower in the blue slot, and then just bone meal on top. And then we can repeat the same process on this side with a blue flower at the bottom, bone meal on top, and then we can also just say receiving, and that should be it for the receiving part. So if we were to chuck a bunch of bone meal into, well, not a bunch, some bone meal into each one of these, like so, this one's gonna have to share, but that's fine. We've got the bone meal, and now we can grab our different flowers real quick, and I do believe I chucked them all in this blue backpack. So if we grab those, that one and the orange one, and we just go bump, there, like so. Oh yeah, that's true. We only have 5, but we can maybe add a 6th one. Oh, what I was thinking is we can maybe try growing warped roots, but I don't think you actually bone meal the warp root itself. We can try. Let's see if we can craft a button real quick. Just do that. I actually think we need to... Yeah, see, that doesn't work. I think we need to, like, bone meal the warp nylium itself to get those. So if we were just to do that real quick. See, I don't think that's going to work. I think we need to rip out this. And then also one of these maybe. So let's do that. And one like this. And then also, does it have to be lower down? Just grab that out real quick. Let's do another one over there just to see. And then let's just chuck bone meal in there. Grab this. Yeah, I think it needs to shoot at it from the bottom. I think that's the thing. So for now, we're just going to leave it as is with the different dirt blocks. And then we'll just sort it out when we get to that point where we actually make this one the nylium. I think if we do that, it might be one of the ones at the back. But for now, this should be working in regards to making the small flowers. So if we head on down here real quick just to jumpstart the contraption, you'll also notice that I made this a little bit neater. It's a whole lot more compact. It's still the same concept. We just power the lifters, the card assemblers from up here by receiving a signal over there. We eliminate the use of 2 pulse repeaters by having only 2 over here, and then we split it in that area to do 2 pulses. So if we do that, we can already hear things happening. And it's working. Okay, so this is very loud, but you can clearly see that we're making a ton of flowers. So this is perfect. The only thing is it will run out of bone meal real soon. And when that happens, it's already out of bone meal. Well, that one at least. Wow, that's insane. But just look at the sheer amount of flowers we got just from that short little time running it. So that is insane. And now what we need to do next is I'm just going to chuck that in and just run out real quick and just stop it. But what we're going to do is we're going to repeat exactly the same clock that we have over here, minus the whole card assembler, for the 2 flowers that we're going to have on the upper story. So I'm not going to do all of this on camera again. I'm going to build another one of these over there. And then I'm going to build the little 2 tall flower farms upstairs. And I'll bring you guys back once we're ready and we check it all out. Okay, so we've added the 2 tall flower farms in the little building. And then in old Dio fashion, I got carried away and started decorating. So, reveal. Ta-da! So we added a bunch of bushes down there. We added some bushes on this side. And I do think it really brings this building to life and starts bringing in a lot more of the greenery. I do think we need to add some on this build, but we'll see to that in between episodes or whatever. But then as we head on over to this side, I also added a bunch of greenery on this side, broke up the walls a bit with some bushes, and I do think it looks kind of cool. I do like how you can see all the greenery through this window as well. Then, like mentioned, we've got a little stall over here with some flowers. I did want to put one over here, but I think I'm maybe just going to do barrels and graffiti, which, by the way, I have not forgotten about the graffiti channel on the Discord. It should be there when you watch this episode. Oops. But anyway, okay, so heading into here, then we have our little alleyway, and then again, just chucked it full of plants and everything, so you know that you're heading to a flower shop. Added some underneath, and if you go up, you're greeted with this, another little stall. And in this is my favorite. I think it's like meant to be a miniature tree in a pot, and I think the reason why I like it a lot is because I used a bunch of the copycat panels just to break up some of the rigid blocks and just give it a bit of shape and space and things, I guess, if you would. But anyway, I like it. I think it looks awesome. And then yeah, it just frames the doorway. So if you head on in, we've got our little farms over here, and I did stock up all the bone meal. I also replaced all of that, and these are the items that we've gotten so far from just this little area. And if we head on upstairs, we go towards the 2 flower area, which apparently I did not stop this from growing. I only want it to be this tall, I guess. Where's my shears? Perfect. Hopefully that stays that height now. But anyway, as I was saying, if you come in over here, we've got our 2 tall flowers over here. I did farm a little bit of it just to test it, and I did stock all of this with bone meal. I will figure out the replenishing of bone meal and all those type of things once I get there, or between episodes. I'm not going to do it now. And then, like mentioned, we farmed a bit, and then out here we just have a little working station with plants and stuff. I do maybe need to add a few more things here, but not too phased about that at the moment. So I think what we need to do is maybe just trigger the farm, because again, it's got a manual trigger at the moment. So we'll trigger it and we'll just run through quickly, just make sure everything works. And then yeah, I'll meet you guys after that, because this is going to be noisy, so it might not be me talking a lot, just me showing you guys everything. So yeah, enjoy. And there you have it. That's what the farm looks like when it works. And I have to admit, I'm really chuffed about how it all came together, about the building, the way it looks, the texturing, the darker spots, and just everything in general about this build, this farm, and this week's episode. Really has me excited to get into the next few builds that I've got planned. But let me know down in the comments, what did you think of this build, and do you like the style and the farms? And if you would like to see something specific, like is there a specific farm that I haven't built yet that you were wondering about and how it's done, then maybe we can make that a challenge for an episode in the future. But anyway, I'm rambling on, and I'm actually short for time. I don't have a lot of time left for this, and I still need to edit, upload, and all of those things. So please, if you haven't done so yet, do consider subscribing, leaving a like, and just let me know in the comments. Just interact, because it really helps out the channel a lot. And I do appreciate every single one of you. Till next time, bye for now.